Hello and welcome back. In this video I'm going to be talking about things that shocked me when I went to Japan. Well, one of the things that shocked me in a good way was the fact that just the transportation was always on time. The trains, they were super clean. They were there to the minute. You can grab one train and within a matter of moments to go to your next stop. Or if you got on the wrong train, you can just get off at the next stop, wait for the next one that would take you to the desired station that you wanted. It was interesting to see trains that would stop at every other stop, trains that would stop at the opposite of every other stop, of those every other stops, trains that would stop at the beginning of the line, the middle of the line, at the end of the line, or trains that would stop at maybe more popular spots, all on the same track. So, if you wanted to take a slow train, you could. If you needed to get to a place in a hurry, you just had to wait for that right train to get there, and the schedules would be there. I thought that was amazing. Another thing that kind of shocked me was vending machines. They seem to be everywhere. You go through a little neighborhood, there's a vending machine with water, their Gatorade equivalents, coffee. In some cases, there would be beer vending machines and sake and all this kind of stuff, in the most rural parts of Japan. So that was very shocking, in a good way. Let's see, other things that were pretty shocking. The food in many ways. Just the variety and types of foods. Wow. From fried octopus to whale sushi, to noodles, made in this ancient way that are different from the regular noodles you see in most places in the world. All of that was pretty shocking. Again, positive shocks. In terms of things that were a little bit less positive or more negative, there's something that I tell a lot of people about Japan, and it's, again, not trying to offend anybody, I'm just pointing out the obvious for those that are in the know and for those that are not in the know, so they know. There's about 3 things that you find in every town, city, municipality, whatever. It doesn't matter how many people are there, how big or how small. You'll find 3 things in any of those places in Japan. First of these, and it's actually, there's a subgroup within this, temples and shrines. No matter where you go in Japan, you will find a temple, shrine, or / altar there. Period. It doesn't, like I said, it's not like in, let me use the United States as an example. It's not like in the U.S. where, you can find a church in most places, but in Japan it seems like you find a ton of them, even in the smallest town, the shrines and the temples, and they're all unique and interesting in their own right, but it's just shocking no matter where you go, there they are, and in large numbers. Second thing you'll find in Japan is pachenkos. For those that don't know what a pachenko is a gambling casino. They'll usually use, if they don't use tokens, they'll usually use marbles that you exchange for cash. And I remember where I lived in Gotenyama, right outside the station was a big pachenko called Nico Nico Pachenko. So bright lights, when the sliding doors would open, it's just loud as heck. I forget if people were smoking in there or not, or if they're even allowed to, but you just see people there, at all hours, just playing and playing and gambling and gambling and gambling. So pachenkos you'll find everywhere, which was one of 2 subsets of that second thing that I say you find in Japan, and that would be karaoke. Just like in China, and I suspect in most places in Asia, Japanese people love their karaoke. So you'll find all sorts of karaoke chains, Big Echo being one of them, and there were several others, I forget their names now. They may even be little hole-in-the-wall converted apartments that will have one floor that's dedicated to that, or it could be a big chain. Like I said, you'll find them everywhere. You'll hear people singing, their heart's desire late at night or in the morning or whatnot. So very common. The last thing you're going to find in any place in Japan, and there again, there's a subset to this third group, Izakayas and hostess bars. For those that don't know what an izakaya is like a Japanese pub. May have some snacks, some very basic food that the bartender or whoever's working there will set, can prepare for you. But a lot of them are just standing room only places. It might just be I remember one in Hirakata that summer was like the best time because it was an open place that have little tables that they would put outside, but it was just like a bar counter with a couple spots for you to stand on, maybe a couple tables to put your drinks on, and that's it. And then winter they would just have a tarp around it to keep the heat in, and maybe a couple propane canisters to warm up the place. And you can have maybe some barbecue chicken on a stick or whatnot, and your beers and liquors, and that's it. And it's just a hangout kind of speakeasy place. Hostess bars, for those that don't know, are bars where Japanese businessmen, generally, there are women who go to these things too, and they call them, I guess, host bars. You're a Japanese man, you may be married, you may be single, it doesn't matter. You want to go and grab a drink, and you want a pretty face to talk to, or to kind of hang out with you. So you go to this place, you order your drink. There may be a girl you find attractive or interesting, and you're paying a little extra. You're probably also buying her drinks, and she's sitting and talking with you. And it doesn't necessarily lead to a prostitution, although I suspect in many cases it does. But that's one of the things that you'll find, and it was kind of a shock to me because when I talked about things that shocked me in China, I mentioned prostitution being so open, even though it was very illegal. But in Japan, I figured that was not a thing. I guess, I had a fairy tale image of Japan until I got there. But yeah, hostess bars, you'd see this. I remember, like I said, I was in a suburban area called Gotenyama, and just one train stop away, or 15-minute walk in Hirakata, which was a bigger, area with more shops and whatnot. I remember there was one street that I had seen on the GPS map when I was in my guest house before moving into my apartment. I was telling people, hey, there's a bunch of bars along this street. And they're like, really? Yeah, I'm going to go explore it one of these days. Oh, okay. And just walking down that street, and I think it was Kawaramachi Street. I forget the name. But it's like it's a long street, and then there's like a couple intersections where there's a few outlying bars. There were just a bunch of hostess bars out there, and they were obviously hostess bars because there'd be guys in suit hanging out outside. There'd be pictures of the girls, sometimes with a price, per 30 minutes, per hour, and so on. And and on top of that, if you spend X amount of money, you can drink, unlimited amount of whiskey or whatnot for the next hour or 2 hours. So this was a thing in Japan, and this was a rural part of Japan. I was pretty shocked that it was there. And when I traveled to other cities in Japan, sure enough, I would find streets just like that would have one after another, and just the one in Hirakata, I remember there was one building that had, I don't know, maybe almost 10 of these things. Some of them were hole in the wall, some of them took a whole floor, but they were there. And you'd see, businessmen coming in taxis and going in and out. I was very surprised. So that was one of the things, one of many odd things I found in Japan. Or shocking, I should say. Another thing that I found pretty shocking was the 100 yen-ish stores. I say ish because they're 100 yen is like the equivalent of the dollar store here, even though now with inflation it's like the $1.25 or $1.50 store. But at the time in Japan, the 100 yen stores, there were quite a few of them. Daiso, and again, I'm forgetting names of some of the chains, but there were quite a few. So you'd have one that was 100, you'd have the Daiso, which was like a 300, up to 300 yen, maybe a little more store. And dollar stores in the US tend to sell a lot of crap, to be honest. Let's be honest, it's crap, it's cheap. People buy it because it's cheap. So you may find kitchenware that's really cheap, like a spoon or something, but crappy. Or you need Tupperware or whatnot. Over in Japan, it was big business, and they were really good quality items. A lot of stuff that I bought for my apartment, little decorative pieces and things I needed for the kitchen, and dividers for my silverware and plates and other things and cups and all. I bought it from there, and the stuff was amazing quality. And they were really clean, really nice stores, great service. So that was one of the things I enjoyed doing in Japan. Oh, I got paid this week. Let's go out to the 100-yen store, buy a couple little trinkets here and there, and just kind of browse around. Or let's just go in and do a little window shopping, maybe buy a couple snacks. And it wasn't just that they were like I said, like the dollar stores here. You had a plethora of things. There were some that were just food based, where maybe you go to a 100-yen Lawson's, or a Family Mart, and you'd buy fruits for $1, or not just one, unless it was oranges or some other things. But you can find I don't know, lettuce, heads of lettuce. You could buy energy drinks in some cases for that amount, or maybe just a hair more than the 100 yen. And people are going in and out of these stores like crazy. They were just churning out the product, and it was good quality stuff. You wanted to buy a beer. In some cases they had them for 100 yen. Or soda, or you need a stationery. So that was shocking to see, to say the least. And I've talked about this before, but I guess I can't understate it. Just the quietness in Japan was shocking. It was this ear-piercing, silence everywhere you went in Japan. I never knew a city or a country could be that quiet. Even where I'm at now in the suburban parts of Miami, the quiet isn't that piercing. So it was really shocking to see something like that, or experience that. But anyhow, this has gone a little bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and stop here and say see you guys on the next video.